Welcome to the Hawks Talk podcast. All things Blackburn Hawks.
In behind the defence, cuts around, scores! Blackburn Hawks win this game 8 goals to 5.
All the latest news, player interviews and much more.
Shoots, scores!
Hawks Talk.
Welcome along to a brand new episode of the Hawks Talk podcast. The season's coming up fast, and I don't think our guests have had much of a break, if I'm being honest. Joining myself and Aidan, we have all of the Blackburn Hawks Board members. First up, Graham Lomax, how are you?
I'm good, G, thank you.
Good stuff. Secondly, Scott Jenkinson, how are you, Scott?
Oh, Jay, are you?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. Then we have Mr. Darren Wilson. Are you good, Darren?
I'm good, mate. How are you, pal?
Yeah, all good. And the newest member of the board, Graham Smith. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good stuff. And finally, my co-host, Aidan Wignall. How are you?
All good, mate. You know, the sun's on the horizon where we're expecting a new season to start. It's not so far off, you know. Busy summer for everybody, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. 3 Grahams on a podcast. What could possibly go wrong? So how have you all been spending your summer then?
I think I'll speak for all of us. We've spent most of it in ice rink. The problem is, isn't it? Everybody finishes hockey season and thinks, oh, it's holiday time, put your feet up. And everybody goes off on their holidays except us, because it's been absolute mad. It's been carnage. It's been busy, which is good in a way, because we just had a little meeting now, and it was a very short meeting, which is a good thing, because it means we're getting near to the start of the season. We've got everything done. And I think we have got more of everything crossed off.
Brilliant. Let's jump right in then. Let's talk about your journeys into hockey. We've spoken to Graham and Darren previously on different podcasts, so make sure you go back and check them out. So first of all, Mr. Smith, Graham, tell us how you got into ice hockey.
Mine were a chance free ticket. Got a free ticket to come watch the Hawks about 15 years ago. Came down and, as I say, I got hooked. My passion sort of developed over a period of time. Reminiscing going back to, I think, season 15, 16 and 13, 14, when we won some silverware. I got involved as a sponsor and also an employer for RJ Bear and for Kim. And I've been coming down every season since.
So as the latest addition to the board, how are you finding that role and how did you become involved?
Yeah, I find the role interesting. It's nice to get involved. Yeah, it's a different side, you see, to what you see out there. Yeah, and I think I can offer good value. I have a different opinion on things. So, yeah, it's an interesting role and I'm enjoying it.
Is there any sort of priorities that you saw when you started that you wanted to just get stuck in with, that kind of thing?
For me, from being in corporate business world, I think I offer a unique perspective. I've got to grips with a little bit more on the financial side of things, invoicing sponsors, and just I've got a different angle that I look at things maybe a little bit differently.
Brilliant. Scott, don't think you're getting away with it. You've been around the club for a number of years now. Tell us how you started watching the Hawks.
Well, I first got involved in ice hockey. Half of my family are from Canada, so obviously about 25 years ago I went over, and obviously you end up at a hockey game, don't you? So got involved hockey that way, but then getting involved with the Hawks actually came around when Colin Graham took over mainly. They asked if I'd come down and help out, sort out the match night experience that we used to, well, still do give, but like sort out the stewarding and the team and stuff like that. And then it just snowballed, and then I think this is the 3rd season now of being the GM, and obviously now a director and involved in the board. So just set off really as a sponsor, like Graham said, just sponsoring, chucking some money in the hat, you know, trying to improve the squad and the team and the club as a whole. And then it's just snowballed and we're here now.
You mentioned it there. You juggle two quite demanding roles as GM and a member of the board. How did that role come about, being a GM, and how do you balance those responsibilities?
Eddie Charnock jibbed and decided that he wanted to do it. No, like I say, Eddie Charnock, he did it for a good number of years when Colin Graham first took over, and then he decided to take a step back. And they just asked if I'd be interested in the role, and I said, "I'll give it a try, see where we are." And then I think it was 3 seasons ago. So trying to juggle. Obviously, the board meetings, we have one a week, so we try and keep on top of that. And then the GM stuff is, I am getting better at it, but I'm still not great with a computer, as you know. So we've got all this to come now.
We spoke to Dom on the last podcast. This is for all of you, I guess, and what goes into the sort of off-season preparations when you're preparing for the next one. You touched on it a little bit earlier, Graham, but it'd be interesting to get all of your perspectives, to be honest. What does it look like when the season finishes and you're looking towards the next season? Where does the planning start? How does it work amongst the different members of the board?
Well, you kind of start from scratch every season, right? There's no guarantee sponsors are going to come back. You know, we look after them as much as we can. So, you know, you kind of have to, you're kind of on the hunt again for sponsors. You're on the hunt again for kit, you know, for getting new kit, etc., etc. But no, you tend to, it's almost like a reboot at the end of a season. And then we kind of get heads together and how do we want to plan the season? What does next season look like? You know, we've had conversations with Dom 3 years ago, what, you know, his 3, 4, 5 year plan would look like. And, you know, we try and adhere to those goals as we kind of move along that timeline. But yeah, I think ultimately, if you think about the way that the team runs behind the scenes, take the players out of it, but, you know, the commercials of the team, it's kind of almost like a fresh start every season.
So obviously, like you just mentioned there, is this something when you're going back to the sponsors, is it like, you know, do you go back with the similar sort of deal? Is it something new that you present to them, or say like, look, next season, this is what we're looking to do? Would you still be on board, or, you know, or is it just literally a clean slate?
A bit of both, really. Like ultimately, when somebody's sponsoring us, we've got to find out what their business goals are for it. So if it's just about getting exposure, if it's just about helping the team out, if it's about trying to get a message in across, you know, like if you think about Let's Foster when they used to sponsor us, we had that theme night, which was to get the message in across about fostering in and around Blackburn and Darwen. It's trying to work out what the sponsor wants to get out of that time that they're with us. Once you've kind of worked that out, the rest becomes a little bit easier down that, you know, that journey and that partnership that you have with them.
Yeah. I mean, obviously people don't realise how much sponsorship contributes to the club, and, you know, the cost is what it is. So are you finding it, you know, obviously with the way that things are changing in the world at the minute, that things are getting harder to bring sponsorship in, or have we got more people going like, well, you know, there's this team in Blackburn, they're an ice hockey team, they're doing really well at the minute. You know, are they jumping on board with themselves or not?
I think the problem that we've found ourselves in, particularly this year, is that, you know, not through any fault of our own, but, you know, money's tight. You know, everybody's got tens of thousands of pounds to throw away on a whim. So, like for example, you know, this year alone, we lost 3 big sponsors, not for any particular reason. Just the time had come to an end, and the circumstances dictated that the business model was changing or whatever. So we lost 3 big sponsors. To try and go out and physically, you know, replace that, it's very, very difficult to do. It definitely puts a strain on you because you know what your outgoings are going to be. You know, this week alone, we've ordered umpteen sticks, we've ordered umpteen gloves. All that as a massive cost to it. The beauty about it is, I think that the business model itself, purely down to footfall last year, left us in a really healthy state to start the season. And, you know, that's lucky in that respect, because if we didn't have that to fall back on, I don't know what sort of position we'd be in. So yes, we do get new sponsors coming on board for whatever reason, but them 2s and 3s add up. You know, it's not always tens of thousands of pounds that people chuck in, so we're always looking for people to chip away. And luckily, you know, we've got people in and around the business who have businesses, and have friends who have businesses, and people who come watching, and it's less is more, if you will, sometimes. But as a business model, I think we've got it just right at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, you did mention football there. It's, you know, is it something that we're looking to increase this year? We got something there to attract more people into the arena. You know, go from maybe that 650 to 750 bracket to maybe breaking 1,000. Is that something we're looking at as well?
Well, I think there's no secret to it, recipe to getting more people through the door. You know, in an ideal world, we'd love more people through the door every week, and we speak about it every season. You know, there's a certain fixed number of people we need to get through the door just to break even. You know, that in itself puts pressure on you when you're looking out there on a Saturday or Sunday night and there's not as many people as you thought. But there's no secret ingredient to it. We've just got to keep working hard, hoping people like the model that we're putting out. I'd like to think that the roster we've put together this year, which has cost us more money. Let's not be, you know, let's be frank about that. We've invested in the squad, we've invested in the coaches' time and to put a winning team together. So hopefully itself, a winning roster should hopefully bring more people through the door. And, you know, we have spoke about other topics that we can maybe little incentives to get people through the door. We know a match night experience is second to none. Can we improve on that again? Can we do little things in that area? Our hospitality, we're looking to do more. Corporate, we're looking to do more. So it's ever-changing face, if you will. So it's just a case of all mucking in and doing what we do.
Yeah. So is there anything that we can look forward to that may be new this year that we're coming in to see? I mean, obviously, like you say, we've got the match night experience, which is second to none at the minute. I don't think anybody in our league matches that. Is there anything new that we're introducing, or is this a case of they're going to have to wait and see come Leeds on the 7th of September?
I think working closer with the rink's been really, really refreshing. Probably this year more than ever. I think we've all identified that, you know, the facility itself is a great facility. So how can all of us help make it a better facility, which the rink seemed really on board to do. Obviously, putting the logos in the ice, it's not necessarily going people through the door, but it's a different perspective. It's something different on the eye to look at. There's bigger sponsors, boards gone up. There's more advertising hoardings around the place. Not necessarily changing the package. I think the package works that we've got. But I think just all working together with the rink for the same goal is working at the minute.
Yeah, I think that new ice does bring a different turn on it, though. It's a massive difference and makes it look a lot better from what we've seen.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. And I think, you know, the rink have been a big part in that as well. It's not just been, you know, all Blackburn Hawks or Evermax Events Limited. We've done it together as a team, which is really refreshing.
Yeah. What about the care of the ice? Are the rink have they promised to maybe increase that? Because, you know, like when we've been away to some places like Solihull and Edinburgh, to mention two that stick to mind, and they've been going around and like chipping away at the side, you know, before the match. Is that something that the rink have offered? Or is it just going to have to be a wait and see?
Well, it's not something that's cropped up in conversation. I think none of us are in a position to tell anybody how to do the job. I think that the most refreshing thing for us as a board is the feedback and the togetherness that we've got from the rink. I think we'll be pushing boundaries a little bit if we start dictating, you know, how we want the ice. It will be ideal. I hear what you're saying. It will be great, but I think I think we've got bigger battles to fight than that, and I'm hoping that relationship we've got going forward with the rink will carry on like it is at the moment.
And we don't have a hump anymore, which is a bonus, right?
Yeah, there's no.
The hump was a great challenge.
That
was just for the Zamboni going up it and during the periods there. But going back as well, you mentioned the roster. I mean, we've noticed over the summer that there's been some massive changes, you know, people leaving and, you know, new people joining us. You know, is this something that Dom approaches you and goes, look, guys, you know, I'm going to let go of certain players and I want to bring in X, Y, and Z? Is this something, you know, how does this happen?
Well, Darren's we haven't made it public knowledge, I don't think, really. Over the summer, what we decided to do over the summer, not for any particular reason, but, you know, just to try and make things a little bit more efficient, is that we had a bit of a restructure. And when we get to the end of every season, we analyse everything, we see our strengths, we see our weaknesses. We noticed a few little chinks in our armour, if you like, that we could improve on. So we've had a bit of a restructure from the top down. And one of the roles that we've put in there is a buffer between the board and the coaching staff. which Darren took on, and Darren will expand on a little bit in a minute. So in terms of that side of things, we've now took the pressure off us a little bit. We took the pressure off the coaching staff a little bit, and we've put that little go-between, if you will. So that's Darren's role as head of hockey operations.
Fantastic. Do you want to explain on that, Darren?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like what Graham just said. It's that buffer which sits between the coaching staff and the board. I think, what we want to do as a board is empower both Dom and Ollie to create a team which is going to win some silverware, right? We've got to make sure that they understand what our goals are as a team, but we also have to understand that what they want from a coaching perspective, and we can't expect them to be getting people from Div 2 or mid-level NHL 1 players and expect to win silverware,
Yeah.
So ultimately we've got to let Dom and Ollie pick a team which they know is going to win something. I'm just looking around the room now. In fact, that's why I missed what the question was. I was looking around the room. How many players have we got in here now who are elite level and national team level? Their entire squad's virtually made up of it now.
Yeah, I think if you look back, you've got to break it down in yearly cycles. If you look to where we're at now from where we started, and you look at the roster back then, and with all due respect, the business model was based on being competitive. We wanted to put a competitive team together, and I think as the business has grown, as it's evolved, it's moved forward, we've invested a little bit more in every year to try and bring more and more success. But ultimately with that comes pressure, and the coaches know that they are in a bit of a pressure pot situation, and we made it clear to them that there were some uncomfortable conversations that had to be had. That's part and parcel of any professional sports team, if you will, and decisions had to be made going forward. It's no longer a boys' club. You can't be too sentimental. We've got to get money through the door, and we've got to get trophies on that table, and that's where we're at as a business right now.
But also from a coaching perspective, it's almost like a bit of a guessing game, right? And this time, well, at the end of a season, it's kind of a bit of a guessing game, because you're thinking about what squad you want to put out, but you also don't know what everybody else is putting out, and our goal might have been that we could win the league with the squad that we had last year, but then when you start seeing who everybody else's side, you start thinking, hang on, we're going to have to change the squad up a little bit.
Yeah.
So you've got to be really flexible with this stuff. You've got to be, and give Dom and Ollie the due. They've got some great players in for this season. Watching them train there was a bit of a training session on Thursday, like quite a loose training session, and seeing those lads on there for that first time, there's some absolute amazing talent on there. It's definitely some speed, I'll tell you that.
For them at home as well, I mean, it's not going to be like Premier League where you're going to have to approach clubs and you can chuck quite a substantial amount of money. How hard is it, or is it to sign and bring in a player? Just off the top of my head, say Harrison from we got him from Leeds. Does the talking start early doors, or is it just a case of you let the club, the whole structure of the club, do the talking instead? How does that happen?
I think a bit of both. So like, we've said this last year on well, a number of us have said this on your podcast previously, which is, we've built this really good thing here, which isn't just about the hockey that we play, it's about everything else that comes with it. So, our change rooms are second to none. Our kit that we provide is second to none. The environment that we put on, the physios, etc., all that stuff, which you don't necessarily get at every other club, is all there. Not just, it's not that we don't play hockey. We sit on the board here. It's for everybody who comes to this change room and spills the blood and guts out on that ice, right? That's what we build it for. And I think that is really easy to sell to somebody who's at a team where they're not necessarily getting that, right? If you're, I don't know, you might be a third liner or a fourth liner on an elite team or a national team, and doesn't mean you're not a talented player, right? But when you start bringing those players into a change room like this, in an environment that we've built, and also an environment that the other players have started to build inside this changing room, it's really easy. I think it's a really easy sell.
Yeah. Did we get everybody we wanted this year? Is there anyone that we've missed out on, or can we say?
Well, I remember Mike Smith always used to say we're always one player away. You know what I mean? From the and we are. I guess there is other players out there who we could bring in, but like I said right at the beginning, give Dom and all the due. They've built an absolute awesome team here.
Yeah.
If the odd person comes up and they're going to strengthen the team, then we'd be stupid not to look at it.
I think as a board, I think we've got a really good understanding with the coaching team. I think they now know that, look, if push comes to shove, we'll do what we can. We'll do what we can to help them. But sometimes it is a no. We have to say no. Sorry, but we can't do that. But we haven't really done that. Everything that's been put in front of us, we've looked at it. We've kicked the ball about a little bit. We've looked at some numbers, and we want to support the coaching team. We give them a vote of confidence at the back end of last season that, look, we'll give you every tool in the toolbox to go out and do it. And we'll continue to do that. And listen, we're 3 weeks away from start of season. If something crops up that's going to make us better, then we'll have a look at it. Trust me, we'll have a look at it. I can't make any promises. None of us in here can guarantee anything. But if it's going to make this room better, we'll look at it.
And ultimately, that's one of the best things about the role which I've got now, right? If you were just sat on the board and you were sat in the stands watching it week in, week out, your decisions are based on the performance. Whereas, I'm on the bench for the guys, I'm on the ice on training days, I'm speaking to them and all, really regular, and you get deeper conversations with them about what they're trying to achieve in the team, rather than just going, well, we've won that or we've lost that from row 12 at the back.
If you look back 3 or 4 years from my perspective, it would be, I'm probably a bit longer than that really, when Carl was here. When it was just me and Carl and it was Dom and all, there was phone calls going forward and backward between me and Dom every day. That weight has lifted off my shoulders now. So that's good in that respect, that the weight's been spread, the workload's been spread. And even down to, we had a couple of conversations with Ali quite recently, if we're all here and we can help, we're not necessarily expecting somebody to do everything. Let's spread that workload between us all, and that's what we all do as a board. Everybody brings something different. Everyone's prepared to get their hands dirty. It's just a fantastic environment to be in.
Awesome. Can't wait for the next couple of weeks to see it all back on the ice anyway.
You touched on it a little bit there with your different sort of roles and responsibilities. Obviously, Darren's now Director of Hockey Operations. Scott's the GM. Don't worry, Scott, I'm not going to throw too many questions at you. What roles do the Grahams have? Like, where do you guys sit in it now?
Graham Lomax is T-boy.
I see my role as the conductor of the orchestra, I suppose. The overviewer, the overseer. One thing I don't do, and I've never done, I've never put myself on a pedestal. People use it a lot, don't they? Oh, Graham's owner, and I'm not. I'm same as everybody else. But I've got a role, and I think it's that experience role, man of experience, isn't it? From the years I've been here. So that's what I do. I oversee. Graham, I'll let Graham expand a little bit more on what he's been doing.
Mine's just in and around the commerciality and the business side of things, really, about looking about opportunities and developing the business commercially and looking at like any other businesses run, about forecasting and burn through rates of cash and making sure the business is in a healthy position, and obviously helping and trying to support with getting further sponsors on board. So my current employer, Creation, have now taken the headline sponsor for this season, and hopefully we can develop that over many years to come. So yeah, I've just fallen into a role myself.
You know what? We're all directors, and to an extent, we've all got different roles, but we don't have job titles.
I was just going to say that.
Everyone's picked up a role, if you will. Nobody's got a specific role that they do, and it's great, and that's so refreshing that, that saying, stay in your lane. Well, we're always in each other's lane because you have to. Otherwise, it doesn't get done, but there's no harm in going in somebody else's lane as long as we all communicate. So I think over time, we've all settled down into the roles that we do. But, just going away from the board, there's so many people that chip in as well. I was saying before that we've restructured. People probably don't know that you've took on the team manager's role, and we're so grateful for that. Nicole doing what she does with the media and the merch and all that. There's so many moving parts to what we do, and without all them moving parts, we wouldn't be what we are.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and thank you for mentioning that. I'm very honoured to be in that position, so thank you for putting that faith in me. I guess I'll try and not mess it up.
Work it out. 1 letter, 2 numbers. Starts with a P. Anyway, on we go. Crack on. Yeah.
You touched on it there about the social media, like Nicole and Luke, the fantastic job that they do. There's some stuff going on behind the scenes, and it's really starting to ramp up. The club's looking at different partnerships with Dhaka and Blackburn College. Can you just elaborate on what that's going to look like and what sort of opportunities are going to be available with that going forward?
So both those partners. So Dhaka is going to be helping us with our social media and with things like photography, any kind of videography, and kind of game day recording. So that really looking forward to that. You know, when we went down there and saw them, they got the facility. I don't know if they've ever seen it, but the facilities in Darwin, just near where the hospital is out of this world. You know, you wouldn't expect it. You'd expect to be in the middle of Manchester city centre rather than being in a middle town called Darwin. But yeah, so it's, they're really enthusiastic. You know, and it's not just about what they can deliver for us; it's how we can help them and help the students that they've got going through Darwin Academy. If there's anything that we can help them with, kind of mentoring wise, from whether it be, Graham from a business perspective, or whether it be somebody to do with, the coaching side for Blackburn College, we're happy to help them out either way. But yeah, I think it was, me, Graham and Nicole both went to the Darwin Academy one, and like I said, the enthusiasm to help us was, just out of this world.
I think that word enthusiasm stands out. Both Darren and I have been to 3 or 4 meetings now with Darwin Academy and with Blackburn College, and when you sit down with somebody, how I judge people is how enthusiastic they are. If I go to a meeting with somebody, you can tell there's not a lot, I'm having to do all the work, then chances are you're not going to get much out of that. When somebody sits down across from us at a desk and me and Darren are sat there with their chins on the floor, absolutely gobsmacked at what they're saying in terms of the enthusiasm, how they can work with us, how they want to help us, how they want to work together. Nothing's off the chart that we can't get. That for us is so refreshing. And I think I speak on behalf of all of us that we're so enthusiastic, we're so excited about both partnerships going forward. The world really is your oyster in terms of what we can achieve between all of us.
Yeah, it's a very exciting time, and I suppose one thing that stands out really is how well that you've managed to keep the club's legacy and history preserved while still evolving as a club, and I think that's quite impressive for something the board to help maintain, I guess, going forward.
Yeah, but I look at that slightly different. Why wouldn't anybody do that anyway?
Yeah, true.
If you're a club and you're not prepared to honour the past or look after former players, then to me, you're not doing it for the right reason, are you? I've heard so many horror stories at clubs that charge the former players to come in and things like that. I don't grasp it. It offends me, if I'm being honest. I think one of the things that we do here better than anywhere is, we do honour the people that play for us. We do try to portray ourselves as professional, even though we're not really out and out professional, we're semi-professional. But if you're doing something, let's all do it right. And I think the beauty of it is that the team that I have around me and working with me in every department, everybody gets it, except that individual that left the towel hung up last night. I will find them and I will kill them.
We've always said, when I came on, started having our first board meetings, we said, like, our job now is to get it through the next 35 years, right? If we're here for 5 years, 10 years, whatever it might be, we might want to be here for the next 30 days. I don't know. But our job is to make sure it's in a good place for the people who we hand it over to.
Yeah, definitely. Just touching on something, just going back to Scott's role, how much admin's involved with being a GM? I mean, we mentioned before about the different players coming in, and obviously players have departed. How much admin's involved in all that?
A lot with this new game day app, because for some strange reason you've got to register with your old club and then get a transfer. I suppose it's if any money is owed. That's what I do get it from that. But there is a lot of admin in the off season. Obviously, during the season, you'll have a lot more than I will.
Straight on the bus.
Can I just say, Scott, things like this go so unnoticed.
No, I agree. 100% agree.
for granted, and it isn't. There's a lot of work.
Like the off season is definitely busier than during the season. Obviously, to get all the players signed up, make sure everyone's got their insurances and everything, that's all dotting the I's and crossing the T's, if you want to call it that. But during the season, it's more of a team manager's role. So you can do the computer work.
Lovely.
No, there is a bit, but it's not a great deal, if I'm honest, unless I'm doing something wrong, which is highly likely.
I suppose this next question can go to all of you, really. It's quite not an interesting subject, maybe more of a touchy one, I guess. Recently, we've seen the Hawks Academy, which was a separate entity anyway, recently rebranded as the Lancashire Ice Hockey Academy, changing the branding to Lancashire Lightning. It's a familiar name. What relationship will the Hawks have with them moving forward?
I don't think there is a relation. I think, like I say, it's always been a separate thing. I think we've just been in a really fortunate position that, there was Carl involved back when Carl was with the Hawk, with the seniors. I was involved back then as well. So there's always been a tie through coaching with the juniors, or coaching and directorship. I think I get why they've changed the name, because they want to reach a bigger audience, and but it's just, I don't know. Sometimes, would I change the name? Probably not. I think kids want to have an aspiration to play for a team like Blackburn Hawks. It's just a shame there's no Lancashire Lightning senior team for them to look up to. But I do get the business model, or the kind of like the new marketing strategy where they want to kind of open it up for the entire of Lancashire. But then, Lancashire Board is on Manchester and Yorkshire, and you've got lots of clubs around here which have got big, massive, back from when I was in head coach for juniors, we were always competing with Manchester and Leeds, so they've still got that competition out there as well.
For me, Graham, I believe in being 100% honest. I always have done, and these guys will tell you from day one, when I stepped into this business, which was 5 years ago, I made it abundantly clear to Carl that I personally didn't want any involvement with juniors, and I'll come on to why in a minute. I also made it perfectly clear to Darren that I don't want any involvement with the ladies. It's twofold. One, because my hands are full here. I don't want distracted with anything. And when I look back historically, which is probably longer than most people who I've been here since, 96, 97, unfortunately, politics always creeps in. And going back to the days, it was around then. It's abundantly clear now that it's around now. And that's one of the reasons why I don't want to be involved. I think it's a very sad state of affairs. If I'm being brutally honest, Graham.
No, I think it's a shame, right? Because you look at D-side and look at Billingham's got a great junior development thing up there, and they're bringing in young players into their squad, whether they go through Buccaneers up to Stars, or whether they go straight to Stars, or even stay at the Bucks. But they've got that pathway is really important for kids. Without having that connection to a senior team, are you really going to encourage kids to go into joining an academy? That's the challenge which they're going to have. From a selfish perspective, we need the next breed of, we need the next Liam Hine, and we need the next, Ollie Lomax, and we need those people who come through an academy. And if we don't have a tie with them, then we're not going to get those. We have to spot them from elsewhere, which we've already got ties with Manchester Storm, Bradford, even Leeds. We've certainly got ties with those teams where we get a lot of talent from.
I must, when I said to you, that's just me speaking, by the way, Graham. I don't speak on behalf of everybody else here. Yeah. I don't speak on behalf of Blackburn Hawks. That's me, Graham Lomax, personally speaking. It doesn't mean that going forward they can't have something with Blackburn Hawks, and Blackburn should be Blackburn Hawks juniors. I'll make that clear. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. I think one of the things, again, historically, when I look back, politics always gets in the way, and it's a shame. It shouldn't do. But when I saw some of the posts the other week, again, I watched from afar. I don't comment. I watched from afar, and when I read some of the comments that were from people who were connected to the current Lightning Lancashire setup, I was a bit I don't know. I wouldn't say offended. I was a bit taken aback, but it proved my point that politics was creeping in, because the people that were commenting on there, and they weren't nice comments, were from people, coaches, parents, wives of people in senior roles, that thinking, you know, that's not pleasant reading. It was bordering on, I don't know, confrontational. I'm not sure, but it didn't make pleasant reading, and it doesn't encourage me any further to try and fix things if I could. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Like I said, but I don't speak on behalf of everybody else. Everyone's got their own opinion on it.
And I think we all agree that hockey should be for everyone, right? And that's why we've got the women's team, and that's why, you know, we wanted to have that relationship with the junior team, because that brings both boys and girls through into both teams, you know, adult teams. But yeah, I think you're right. I think politics has always been a place in junior hockey, hasn't it?
Yeah, but do you not think that one of the biggest problems in life per se, I'm using a life example here, not just an hockey example here, is that things are said, things are done, things are read, misconstrued, people drive wedges between, people don't speak to people, and the biggest fault that people have in life is they'll listen to something, they'll get told something, and they'll believe it to be 100% true. Why not stop the individual, ask them the same question, and have an open, grown-up conversation with somebody, and ask somebody the question that's bothering you? Not necessarily come to blows. Why would everybody want to do that? But if you've got something that's bothering you, not sure about the answer or how you've got to where you got to, stop somebody. There's no ogres, there's no monsters. Everybody on this board, there's nobody unreasonable. Ask the question. You might not necessarily like the answer you get, but doesn't mean to roll around on the floor, does it, or anything like that. But I'd encourage anybody in life, if you're not sure, stop somebody, have a conversation with them, sit down, have a coffee. Don't need to fall out. People don't need to fall out. End of the day, everybody wants the same thing.
And it's not that hard to start an academy.
Just say wait.
He said it now. What you can't see off camera is Graham's now got his head in his hands.
By the way,
Item 1 for the next board meeting, academy setup. I mean, do you not think there's like does it not put a bit of a boundary in the way there for that pathway up to the Hawks if we don't have, you know, like you say, the Dragons and the Bucks and stuff? Is it harder for us to then go out and go for people like that? Is this an implication as to why, you know, Darren's gone over to Leeds? I mean, obviously we don't know what's gone on, but could we ask that question?
I don't think it drives a wedge between, you know, it's certainly, if anything, it kind of makes our life a little bit easier, right? Because Manchester, you've got to be superb to get into Elite League, right? Especially as a junior, especially when you're 15, 16. So it actually gives Manchester puts them in a really good position, right? Because if they've got players who might be too good to play on Aces, but not quite good enough to play on Storm, we're a perfect slot for them, right? So it actually makes our life a little bit easier for that younger talent. You know, I say it time after time, Bradford I don't know how Andy does it over there, but just produces so many great players out of Bradford. You know, it just allows us to not just necessarily look at one academy just to get our youth development from it. It allows us to look around and actually do a bit of shopping.
I think Darren's right. If you look at Elite League, National League, then us, then Div 2, everybody falls into a slot, don't they? Yeah, there's a category that everybody falls into. So within that, you get a player that's on his way up, and I'll use Josh Crowley as a prime example. 2 years with us, he's now off to bigger and better things. And I must say, with all of our blessing. That works for them, that works for us. However, when we gave the coaching team the vote of confidence back in the last year, we all identified that the junior programme, making young players better, was all well and good, but that only benefited one party. That was the individual themselves. Blackburn Hawks did not benefit from that in any way, shape or form. So you ask yourself the question, what do we do going forward? Then we have no other alternative than to look, how do we put a roster together that is going to win us things? There's some little caveats to that. There's some examples within there that we haven't just jettisoned it and scrapped it. We've still got young Liam Hine that's smashing it out of the park. Great great breakout year last year, into his second year with us this year. Hopefully, he'll smash it out the park. And if he goes on to bigger and better things, great. I think the Darren situation was slightly unique in our eyes. And listen, everyone's got their own opinion on things, and everyone's got a selfish opinion on it as well. We would have loved him to have another year with us. And I think deep down, everybody thinks that probably would have been the right thing for him. However, his big club that he's signed with maybe pigeonholed into something else. I don't know. That's not my place to say. But unfortunately for us, maybe fortunately for him, he's had to go with Leeds 1. How much ice time he gets, we'll have to wait and see. But we certainly feel as a board, he would have got more out of it if he'd stayed with us for another 12 months. I think the club would have benefited, he would have benefited. But listen, it is what it is. We've got to deal with it.
But it is phenomenal watching him grow on the ice, though, isn't it? That's it. When you do have him, that's been good.
It was great watching all the young lads last year. Like you got Bailey Thomas. He only turned 16 in November. The lad was playing like he'd been playing for years with some great experience. And like you said, Darren scored some important goals for us last year as well, and to carry us forward. So to see them go, it always breaks a fan's heart, I guess.
It does.
Lines, but from your side, you've got to look at the business perspective.
Well, you've got to look at it from their side as well. We are on that sliding scale. We are third division, if you like. So they're not going to stay with us forever. However, having said that, if you flip that on its head, and these lads alluded to it earlier, if you've got a player that's going the other way and he's not getting the ice time he thought he would get National League, and he's getting a bit older in the legs, where's the best place to come and play? Where's the most professional club? Where's the club that you get looked after? Where's the club that's got the best transport? Where's the club that's got the best fans? Where's the club that's got the best atmosphere? I could go on and on and on. So, we can flip that on its head. If you want to be at a good club, whether you're on the way up or the way down, listen, we can offer you that, we think.
No wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong at all. So, the pathway with Storm as well, you mentioned I think me and Graham were talking about it before we came on. Is that something that's still quite big for us to look at and look into? Have we already spoke about it, or?
Yeah, I think we've kind of covered it there with what type of play we kind of get off Manchester, or what we look for of the players of Manchester. Ultimately, we put the players in front of Dom and Ollie, and it's a yes or a no, whether they're with us or whether they want to come with us. But yeah, I do think, just going back to just iterate what I said, is I think we have a bigger shop window being associated with a number of clubs rather than just one individual club, which is just an academy,
Yeah. Nice one.
I think Darren alluded to it before, and I think he's 100% correct in terms of, I think sometimes if you've got a thriving junior development, great. Unfortunately, circumstances dictate here we haven't, and it hasn't worked here for a number of years. So nobody's going to say this is a recent thing. It's not. It's been broken. That machine's been broken for a number of years. For what reason, I don't know. But having said that, when you look at and I think Liam Hines a prime example. Kids leave here, and I mean here, Blackburn Junior Development, for whatever reason, no reason. They tend to go to other clubs, and you've got Bradford, like Darren said, you've got Manchester, and they do really, really well. There is an affinity back here, so slowly they'll migrate back, and we get on that path to bigger and better things.
I remember speaking to Ronnie Grimes' cousin, little Zach, and he's like a phenomenal player for his age. I think he's U4, it might have just gone U16, but he was U14 when I was coaching him. Like, he's ahead of everybody else. Yeah, big, strong player, good shot on him, everything else. And he kind of encouraged them to go to a better club and play U14s A rather than playing 14Bs, because they're not really going to progress much. They're just playing with, ultimately 14Bs is a development team. And when you're trying to get them onto 14As, they're playing against lads who are going to make it. But when you speak to little Zach, ultimately he wants to play here.
Yeah, but I'd love one day to somebody like Steve to ring one of us up and say, we've got a cracking little talent on
that'll be
we've got a real gem in the pipeline.
Lives in Millhill.
Bring him up. Let's stick him on a session. Let's look at him. Let's encourage him. Let's make him better. But I don't think we're a million miles away from that. We're a million miles away, and I think they've got it. The juniors, just going back to it, I think they've got to get their own act together. What that looks like, I don't know.
Yeah, they've got to carve their own identity.
Yeah.
And you're only as good as the coaches as well. You know, I'm not disrespecting any coaches that are on there. I don't know them, but you're only as good as your coaches. You tend to find these big teams, you know, like Tech Storm, for instance. You know, Mike Morin's coaching them, and you know, you've got big names coaching them. The lads out of Storm go on there. You know, Leeds. You know, even when Bobby was at Leeds, Bobby used to be on there coaching them. And
the only comparison I've got, obviously, I've got all of them now. When I look back historically, when all was at 10s and 12s, with Kurt Kleinendorst on with us, you know, with Jim Pennycook on with us, you know, with Dave Morrison on, you know, with proper elite players that were coming on and coaching, you know. And I understand it's difficult. It's really, really difficult. It is. But again, you know, it's got to come from the bottom up, hasn't it? You know, and how the future looks, I don't know, but I don't think it's going to affect our business model.
No, so coming off that, one thing that really, you know, shone last year was our theme nights. Can you shed any light as to what theme nights we can expect this year? I mean, there's obviously the big favourite, you know, the big one that is the Memorial Day one in November. Have we got anything else that you're willing to share with everybody for that?
They're all pointing at each other off camera.
Graham Smith's been quiet. Come on, Graham, let's hear from you.
We've got a theme night planned, which we can reveal, which is going to be a Valentine's theme night, which ties in quite nicely to my employer creation. So there'll be a special jersey produced in its horticultural theme, which is going to be a little bit different for this year.
That's flowery for you and me. Well, no, you're right. You touched on it earlier. At this moment in time, we have 3. There's 2 penned in and 1 penciled in. The annual Armed Forces Day, Remembrance Sunday, that's pending. Healthy Heroes, etc. That will be going ahead as normal. We'll put some more meat on the bones nearer the time with that one. If I remember rightly, I think we're playing D-side that weekend, so it's a big fixture. That's that, and obviously we've got the Valentine's Day one based around creation and the flowers, and we are looking at squeezing another one, either last game of season or if we're lucky enough to get into playoffs, we're going to do another one then. What that looks like at this moment in time, we're not quite sure.
Fantastic. Just so I can get my playlist sorted already from.
It was about you, innit? You.
All about me, yeah. I've been quiet all summer, haven't I, though? I've not really dipped in, so you know.
Got a new goal on apparently, Graham Hamilton says.
Whoa.
I'm still in way out of this. It's well above my pay grade, that one.
I'm sure you put a link in one at groups.
I'm sure you did.
It's causing trouble, weren't you?
I just did what I was told.
I blame Malik Hulshaw. He was the one that stirred the pot first, weren't he? Wow.
Just before we get into some questions sent in by the fans, the annual golf day is this week. Are all of you guys going to be playing in it?
Darren's Borussia Mönchengladbach, innit? He won't play. He's
last time, let's just put a caveat on this. Last time I played golf, for you lot, my back went. I couldn't even bend over to put the ball down on the ground.
Do you know what? Joking aside, you know what? You're on like I don't like praising offspring. I don't like doing it. I don't like nepotism. I hate it. But Ol and Nicole, honestly, this event it's brilliant. We look forward to it so much every year. It's grown and grown and grown. And you know, for all of us that do play golf, and we play a lot of golf, let's be right. I can't wait for Friday.
You don't, do you?
No, you've never noticed. Quite expensive shirt collection. Anyway, we can't wait for Friday. Everything's boxed off now. I've ordered weather this week. That'll be with us Thursday night. Weather's looking good. There's 88 people playing in it. If you've never been before, it's not a pay event. Just come up. If you want to Hawk supporters and you come down here, come and see Hawk lads. I think there's 20 players, past players taking part. I'm there. Scott's there. Come and mingle, join in, buy a beer.
If it's a good
enjoy
day.
It's a great day.
Sitting on that 18th is great.
You know, them prizes, they're on another level, and credit to Ol and Nicole for that. It's it's a fantastic day, and it's just that precursor as well to season starting. We're training the night before, which ironically is media day again. So Thursday this week's going to be busy we're chasing the tails a little bit, picking kit up, tracksuits, new kits, etc. So it's all go at this end, but it's a great curtain raiser as the golf day.
Brilliant. Yeah, looking forward to it. So up next, we've got some questions sent in by some of the Hawks fans. So thank you to everyone for getting involved. We'll let you guys decide amongst yourselves who's getting chucked under the bus to answer them. First up, one from Tom Kavanagh. What's the board's opinion on Ice Hockey UK, England Ice Hockey and Scottish Ice Hockey looking to merge together, and how do you think it'll benefit our league?
I'll have a go at it, but Darren might have a go as well. Their answers might be different. I don't know. I love Scottish hockey. I absolutely love Scottish hockey. I always have done. I always will do. Based on my experiences travelling up to Scotland, as much as they hate you, as much as they want to kill you, as much as the refs are biased, they do let a lot go. I think I encourage everybody sometime to play in Scotland. So if England ice hockey can learn anything from Scotland ice hockey, one, discipline, two, DOPS, they're so good at it in terms of let's not be silly, let's apply some common sense. So I only see it as a good thing. I love Scottish hockey, I always have. So I just hope it rubs off a bit on England ice hockey. Darren?
No, I think similar to you. I think they can all learn from each other. I think it's good that they've all come together, because I do have a very similar opinion too on Scottish hockey. I think it's a really good hockey. It's very much like it feels more like a 90s hockey when you're watching it, and certainly when you're watching the lads play. I know when we were in the Northern League the other year, like the hockey was just different, and the lads played different when they were up there as well. But yeah, I just hope that the IH learns stuff off Scottish hockey and vice versa. Start spreading that wealth of knowledge.
One thing I always liked about Scottish hockey was that if you're good enough, like you can play, like under 16s can train with adults and things like that, and that's one thing I've always liked.
Yeah. They allow 15-year-olds to partake in games.
Yeah, it's amazing. And if you look at some of ththose players like Innes Gallagher, we saw him in the Scottish tournament that we played against them. He's now at Leeds national team. Torrin Anderson. There's loads of them. Such a talent up there because they get that opportunity, don't they?
Yeah, Brody, we were down there. He was phenomenal.
No, there's a good talent pool. They need to be in shop window more.
Definitely, I agree.
How do you think it'll affect? Obviously, I mean, we've seen some silly punishments given for penalties this year and gone by. Do you think they'll go a bit more lightly on that? Do you think that'll still stay with the DOPS sort of thing, or
depends
what
that could change? How DOPS manifests itself going forward. I don't know. Let's be 100% clear about this. It hasn't worked, has it? Last few years, it clearly hasn't worked. So I just hope they all get into bed together, and DOPS is England and Scotland. Or it's not just England, because if it is, the Scottish chaps are going to become very unhappy very soon.
Yeah, I agree. The next couple of questions were sent in by a social media page called No Pucking Clue. Got to say that very carefully. Firstly, what's the club's long-term vision for keeping the Hawks a consistent top-of-the-table team?
Who owns No Pucking Clue?
I'm not sure.
It's No Pucking Clue.
I think more than anything, long-term objectives they're very difficult to plan around, aren't they? I think based on the last 5 years, the business has grown and it's more than stable now. So I think from day one it was being sustainable. I think that's always going to stay. Priority one is being sustainable. Who can predict what the future looks like? I don't know. You look around this dressing room and you think, well, he might not have another year in him. He might not. You can't do anything about that until that time comes, can you? So how the future looks, I don't know.
And next up, what do you think sets Blackburn Hawks apart from every other North 1 team right now? I think we've covered a lot of that off in this, but if you want to give it a go, Scott.
I think our match night experience is far better than anybody else's in our league. I'd go out on a whim and say I think our roster on paper is better than anyone in our league.
This room that we sat in.
This room's better than any, probably this league and maybe National League as well. I think the arena holds itself to be more professionally run than a lot of the other ones in our league. So I think we've got many things going in our favour, if I'm being honest, but I am a bit biased.
I think it's just the culture that we're trying to create. And if you look back historically, it has never been the greatest, has it? And I mean, and I've said this before in a lot of podcasts and stuff, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. We haven't had a lot to beat, have we, in terms of improving things? But we'll continue to improve it. And this place, I think all of us are on the same hymn sheet. Everybody. I don't know whether that's me driving it from the top down or what, but we've all got the same way we do things, the culture, and we have to do it a certain way. And Ali's a prime example. I use Ali as an example. He's a prime example of the pride that he has in his work. It's on another level, and that's the biggest compliment any of us in this room can pay him. We won't say it if he were here, but you know what I mean. And I think on top of that, I think all the lads get it. All the lads get it. And last week we had two new players join us for the first time last week. And trust me when I say they were absolutely blown away when they walked through that door. So much so, one of them said to me, "Graham, this is the best dressing room I have ever been in, full stop." Now, how good is that to us? Sitting here listening to that, that's the biggest paycheck that we get, is somebody complimenting us on how we do. But even the coach company we use, what a working relationship we have with them. Quality buzzes, and we're all on the same hymn sheet. So no, we're good. We like what we do. We're proud of what we do, and look, this is the place to be. I don't care what anybody says.
Contact SJ Developments if you want a change room building.
Other builders are available.
Yeah.
that particular player that you mentioned there, that mentioned that about the dressing room, I'm not going to say exactly who it was, but it is somebody that's played a fair few teams at a higher level. So
Correct.
it's a great compliment to be paid. Sorry.
Massive. No, it's massive.
Well, also social media helps us because every team this time of year puts little photographs of the changing rooms on or the facilities, don't they? And you look at them and you think like, ours is light years ahead of it,
Yeah, I touched on it before, and I think the biggest pick me up at the moment in time is the working relationship that we've got with Blackburn Arena. Compared to, I don't know what goes on at other rinks. All I can say is that I've been in them. They're not the greatest, are they? I was in one not a million miles away from here the other day, and it was horrible. It was cold. It was damp. It was dismal. It was scruffy. It was untidy. And I think this place is polar opposites to that. And I think between all of us, all the parties that's willing to help us, between us as a management team and the rink, I think we can all make this place better. And I think everybody benefits from that. And I think they want to as well, which helps.
Yeah, that's true. Finally, then, this next one and the last one was sent in by Anthony Thomas. Some say he resembles Peter Griffin. I would just like to thank the owner, Graham Lomax, and the board, firstly, on an amazing effort to get this ice hockey team together, along with Dom and Ollie. And I hope the efforts pay off on the ice. So, well done, guys. I would just like to ask, who has the last say on what happens in the club, or is it a group decision?
That's me.
No, we in all the conversations that we have, whether it be sat here tonight or in a WhatsApp chat, democracy will always rule. Democracy has to rule. It's not a dictatorship. It never will be. Democracy will always lead the way. And massive thanks to Anthony for them compliments.
Yeah.
And he's got another question as well. Just for a bit of fun, he says, what are your thoughts on the upcoming season?
Oh, well,
no pressure.
I think that's not down to us, is it? That's down to the people that are going to sit in these stalls when we aren't sat here. I think we've done everything we can. Don't think we can do any more. Hopefully, we've provided them with all the tools and the platform they need to, go and have a great run at it and get more people through that door by them having more success. I think by doing that, everybody wins.
All right, so this season we can see that we've got the new season ticket. They've also got 2 levels. We've got the standard, which I think is about £216, and then we move on to the ultimate, which is £242. That's for adults. For children, the standard is 126, and the ultimate is 143. With them two, can you explain as to what the difference is and what you'd be getting for that extra, £30?
Yeah, so the ultimate ticket basically includes everything except for the one pre-season game that we've got. So all your cup, your playoff games and your cup games, etc. That's all included inside the 242. The standard ticket is just for your league games. That's the same whether it's adult or child.
The ultimate season ticket also includes your seat reservation.
It does, yeah. But you can buy a seat reservation if you want separately this year.
Which we have sold a few.
Yeah.
Sold quite a few, actually. So in essence, basically, if you buy the ultimate one, you're getting access to, that would be a quarter-final and a semi-final in the Cup, and it would also be 2 playoff games, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
so getting 4 extra games. You want to take that gamble that we're going to get there.
And the seat reservation.
And the seat reservation.
Definitely.
So where can fans grab those? Is that from the website?
It is, yeah. Just go to blackburnhawks.com. I think we've also got the player jersey sponsorships on there as well, if anybody wants to have a look at those. I think there's a few left. I think Barry's away jerseys left. Ajax got a few left. Simpson's got some on there. And there's a few others left on there as well.
Graham, just a quick one. We haven't revealed the jerseys yet, have we?
Nope.
No.
We haven't done a jersey reveal yet.
That'll be after Thursday when we've done media day, I think.
Well, what I would say is that if anybody wants to come watch your training on Thursday, one, they can buy the seat sticker and put it in place. They could collect the seat sticker if they've bought a season ticket and put that in place. Media days will be taking place, and the chances are they'll be able to see the kits, I would have thought, because there'll be a lot of modelling going on.
Oh.
Also, we've got a very special one this year.
Excited.
Can you shed any light, or is that the only teaser that we're going to have?
We're up into the merch table out on Thursday night as well. And we've got some new merch. So if anybody wants to get an early season merch, we're hoping to have the table out on Thursday night. All the lads will be here. They'll all be wearing shirts. Blah 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 blah. So you get the opportunity to see new kits. Not all of them. Might only be home and away, but there's so many moving parts this week to getting this over the line. I'm going picking stuff up on Thursday if it's ready. This is what it's like. It's mad. It's absolutely mad at this time of year. So the home kit, yeah,
is a home kit.
The home kit. The home kit. I'm trying to think. The home kit is white, red, black, and yellow. The away kit is black, red, yellow, white, in that order. The warm-up shirt, I couldn't tell you. I'd be giving it away too much, wouldn't it?
You can tell us that it's a warm-up jersey and it has colours on it.
And numbers. It's numbers and colours.
They'll be very recognisable colours. So you got 2 colours on it.
Ooh, there you go.
Way up. So going back to the shirts as well, when do we think they'll become available for the public to buy, and what do you know what the turnaround time is going to be this year?
The plans to get after media day, obviously get the photographs on the website. You'll obviously be able to customise them with your name and your own number on, or take a player's name and number. They should be on the website next week, I believe.
I think we're picking some stock up as well.
There will be some on the merch table for the first proper game, not
the pre-season.
The pre-season game.
Yeah.
So the first home fixture.
Yes.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
One final question then before we let the board go. What message would you like to give to all the Hawks fans ahead of the upcoming season? One at a time. Scott first.
I think
get yourself down.
I'd like to think that we've built a good rapport last year with a lot of new faces. Families invested into shirts and that's been very, very noticeable. I think the last game of the season we were through the doors open. I think was a great gesture, and I'm hoping that a few people came for the first time who haven't come, and hopefully they'll come back. I think the fact that people can, I think the traffic on the social media has been very good. It's been very busy, so hopefully that'll turn into numbers and people coming through the door. And I think everything works around a winning team, doesn't it? You know, if you've got a winning team, then a byproduct of that is more people coming through the door. I know we've said it 100 times before, and we need to smash through that 1,000 barrier, don't we? We need to get that absolutely smashed out the park and get through it and get them attendances up. So if you haven't been before, tell a friend, tell your neighbour, come down and see what we're all about.
I was just going to say, like, if there's one thing that any of the fans, like, it's a really weird sport, right? We don't have tens of thousands of people watching us, and we walk, especially for like myself and Dom and Ollie, we walk from changing rooms round to the bench on game day, and you know, you even know everybody who's in the arena. But if there's one thing I could ask for all of our fans, I think if you could do one thing for this year, is just bring one extra person down with you at some point. Just let them enjoy what you enjoy whilst you're down in the arena and watching the lads score goals against every team in the world.
One thing I have is when I'm going around talking to people, you know, they always turn around and go, "Are you still doing the Hawks?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I've been meaning to come down. So you're just trying to get them, you know, you're talking to them and saying, like, you know, put it up there so we can do it.
I think it's a case of, I think if you come once, you'll come all the time. It's not an hard sell, is it? You know, I think the product sells itself in terms of what we churn out. I think that automatically should bring people back. So I think it's a case of everybody bringing somebody with them, like Darren just said, and you know, let's pack the building out. Let's get them tunes banging out. Let's get them lights going. Let's make it a proper event.
I mean, could we look at doing something, you know, like obviously we're bringing Dakar on board, so will we like look at putting tickets out to schools again? Is that another incentive?
Yeah, we're going to look at the community side of it. We're going to have another look at it from a different angle this year. I think the Dakar side of things, I think that media side of it will take a while to kick in. Obviously, schools don't come back till end of September, the colleges, etc. So that's not going to happen overnight. But with their help, I'm sure we can boost attendances.
We've spoken to Blackburn College about trying to do doing some kind of promotion with Blackburn College for the students. You know,
they've got a robot dog. Just saying.
What position does he play?
I had a meeting for an hour and a half. I was blown away by a robot dog. Anyway, I digress.
Is he drawing a dog? Perfect. Right, brilliant. Thank you guys for jumping on the podcast. I know you're all extremely busy, so we appreciate you coming on, and we'll definitely get you back on later in the season.
Cheers, Jake.
Cheers, Jake. Thank you.
Cheers.
Hawks Talk.